Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, I have covered to a large degree what is going on in drought-ridden areas like Bultfontein and further west in South Africa, which are just totally at crisis. They're at a crisis point. These poor farmers, after 6 or 7 years of drought, where they haven't actually been able to produce a proper crop, they've gone into a huge amount of debt, and now the banks, like the FNB, First National Bank, are now closing them down, foreclosing on them, kicking them off their farms after being there for generations. And I've talked about before about how many farmers are so desperate they're actually committing suicide. Forget about farm murders. This is bank murders. The banks are actually killing the farmers by just totally screwing them when it comes to helping them with finances. And even worse than the banks are the government. But selectively. The government selectively is withholding money from the white farmers. If you're a black farmer, not so bad. Let me tell you why. South Africa's agricultural industry has welcomed the close to 4 billion rand the government will plough into the sector to benefit black commercial farmers. Notice that? This is another just example of a racist policy. It's selectively benefiting the black farmers and screwing over the white farmers who are in a very desperate situation. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced during the State of the Nation address, SONA, on Thursday, that over at the medium-term budget period, 3.9 billion rand has been allocated to the land bank to support the farmers. We are going to substantially expand the agriculture and agro-processing sectors by supporting key value chains and products, developing new markets and reducing our reliance on agricultural imports, Ramaphosa said. Now, he talks a load of shit. So, he might as well be talking about flying to the moon, like that Ugandan mob. Remember that video we had about the Ugandan mob flying to the moon, and they had this little cylinder, which was a rocket? This is the sort of shit that Ramaphosa is talking right now. This 4 billion rand should be going to the white farmers who can actually do something with it and rebuild their farms. But no, it's going only to the black farmers. And I have so many videos on here of what happens to a farm when the government in the past has bought it and given it to one of their mates in the ANC. It just goes to rack and ruin. So, throw another 4 billion rand down the long drop. That's what they're doing here. But Ramaphosa is full of his own little dreams, isn't he? He says, we must be a country that can feed itself and that harnesses the latest advances in smart agriculture. He's good, isn't he? Agri-SA Deputy Executive Director Christo van der Riede said they were very happy about the funding Ramaphosa announced. We are of the opinion the land bank should be restructured to develop commercial black farmers, he said. Notice that? Black farmers. He said the bank played a huge role in developing white commercial farmers in South Africa. What happened after 1994 is that the bank became institutionalized. Part of the bank should be restructured to become an agricultural development agency for black farmers. Why separate them? I mean, they're all farmers, aren't they? This is just absolutely racist. Van der Riede noted that it was important for the land bank to work with the private sector to improve and increase the success rate of black commercial farmers, as farming was a risky business. Yes, we know that. Black farmers can get all the finance in the world, but if they don't get the necessary support and extension services, they will struggle. Exactly my point. There's no logic behind this whole thing. The funding comes after the industry bled 12,000 jobs during the first quarter of 2019, and during which the GDP declined by 3.2% or 56 billion rand. It was also announced recently that the AgBiz DC Agribusiness Confidence Index had fallen by 2 points in the second quarter to reach just 44, a level suggesting the sector is downbeat about the operating environment, according to Agbi's chief economist Uvandile Silobo. Black farmers in South Africa are represented by the African Farmers Association of South Africa, led by President Dr. Vuyo Malati. Malati also chairs a presidential advisory panel on land reform and agriculture. Malati could not be reached immediately for comment. Ramaphosa also announced during SONA that the government had received the report of the advisory panel, saying it will now be presented to the cabinet for consideration. The panel's recommendations will inform the finalisation of a comprehensive, far-reaching and transformative land reform programme. In the medium term, government will accelerate efforts to identify and release public land that is suitable for smart urban settlements and for farming. Now, you just have to look no further than that last video I put up about Nailstrom. These are weasel words. It's full of bullshit. He knows that money is just going to go down the gurgler, but he's just worried about supporting his ANC base. As we talked about earlier, with Durban, with the auctions there, it's only the black people who could actually go to the auctions. Even the Indians and the coloureds were locked out. I mean, this is where the country is going. It is a complete hypocrisy on what happened pre-1994. This is not a rainbow nation, guys. This is not a rainbow nation. Just in conclusion on this story, the advisory panel on land reform and agriculture was appointed in September last year, a few months before Parliament resolved to pursue a constitutional amendment to allow the expropriation of land without compensation to redress skewed land ownership patterns. Well, I've got my own views on that, believe me, and they don't comprehend. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for updates, and I hope you're having a great evening.